Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a very special treat. Dustin Pettigrew of Podtacular was able to sit down and conduct an interview with Frank O'Connor of 343 Industries. He also allowed me to submit the questions that would be asked. So before I present this interview, thank you so much for this opportunity. And to those watching, if you haven't checked out Podtacular, do so now. They are the unofficial Halo Universe podcast and host some great discussions about Halo lore. I can personally attest to that. A link to their website is the first thing in the description box below. So a last thank you and enjoy the interview.
With regard to Mjolnir variants, there's a bunch of things going on. Some of it is just standard, in canonical terms, standard military industrial variations. Like we're talking about companies that profit and benefit from putting out as many variations as they can. We also have a military industrial complex that actually likes doing a lot of experimentation and prototyping. So we have loads and loads of variants. The non-canonical reason is because people like variety in the aesthetics. There's also another layer of that, which is that, we've seen some people talking about the Fall of Reach trailer this morning already and saying, why isn't it Mark V and blah, blah, blah. And well, it is. It's the correct variant in the armor. But the reason that the original Mark V armor looks the way it does is because that's how many polygons we had when we were making the OG Xbox. And then you bring in different designers who have to then reinterpret it with much higher fidelity and so on and so on and so on. So the bad answer that nobody likes is, bluntly speaking, is because the technology and the fidelity allows us to do things that we would have loved to have done the first time around and couldn't. And but the real canon answer that we think about when we're doing this stuff, and sometimes it's we're kind of spackling over problems and smoothing it out to incorporate the question, but other times it's because realistically this is kind of what happens in the military is you, especially with skunkworks stuff, you make iteration after iteration after iteration. And of course, we go back to aesthetics, and you're going to see more of that in Halo 5. But it is, if it makes anyone feel any better, it's properly thought out when we build it. It's just that it sometimes conflicts with what people's aesthetic ideal would be. So Mark V is there. It just looks different for a bunch of perfectly good reasons that might not be satisfactory for people who want a one-to-one answer. Yeah. The Spartan 3s are, bluntly speaking, a flawed program. They're kind of the F-35 of the Spartan program. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't good soldiers in that program. It doesn't mean there wasn't good tech and some good ideas in that. But the Spartan 4 program has completely superseded it. Now, that means that some Spartan 3s are actually going to make it in the Spartan 4 program. That means that a lot of those Spartan 3s are going to be decommissioned, but we're still talking about them, and you're absolutely still going to find out what's happening to the fairly large numbers of soldiers and technology that are in that program. And it's not a complete failure either. It had some good successes. So of course, Chief's armor changed, and I kind of already encompassed this question and this answer in the first question, which is that some of it's aesthetics, some of it's new artists, some of it's higher fidelity. Fidelity drives a lot of this stuff. I think, bluntly, and you can actually see this in the Master Chief Collection, and you can see it in Halo Anniversary, when you put the Chief's old design verbatim into a high-fidelity engine, it would look bizarre. And we just, bluntly, we're never going to do that. It would look dumb, and it would be weird. And the original Chief Mark V is built on the limited number of polygons we had in the original Xbox. We don't have those limitations anymore, and so we update it, and we do make changes. Roughly the same thing happens between 3 and 4. They're on the same platform, but we were able to do more things and have higher fidelity graphics and yeah, I know you have another question coming up that I'm prepared to answer, but I'm not gonna go right ahead. So we killed Black Team off in Halo Escalation, not out of spite or lack of caring. That was the story as it was written. So we executed on that story. We agreed with the author that it was going in the right direction. What was the first part of that question again? Sorry. Nicole's status will be dealt with at a later date. She's gone but not forgotten currently. And there was another part of the question that because I was answering it backwards that was... Oh, is Johnson immune to the flood? We have established in the canon that Johnson is afflicted by, or perhaps blessed by, Boren syndrome, which makes him not impossible, but difficult and pointless target for the flood to infect when there are other easier sort of genetic maps for them to cling to. But sadly, Boren syndrome or not, Johnson's fate was sealed by something much worse. Yeah. So. You know, people say that, but we usually have ideas for where these things are going. And, you know, the earlier on in the interview, you mentioned the word nanomachines, and it was funny. And I did want to tackle that head on. So we discussed that some small repairs were made to the Chief's armor by nanomachines. And people were like, nanomachines, magic, bullshit. Well, we make nanomachines now in the 21st century, and they're actually quite effective at certain simple things. The path for that technology is going to be so accelerated that someone in the 22nd century is going to look back at what we suggested happened to the Chief's armor in Halo 4 and laugh at how primitive it was. So it's funny, I always think of nanomachines as just an obvious, almost like a 3M Scotch tape, simple technology, a molecular-sized technology that is absolutely guaranteed to possibly reach a singularity at some point. So nanomachines aren't magic. They're a real thing. They exist now. And the acceleration of that technology is going to be tremendous. So we didn't think it was going to be that contentious at the time. But I think it's partly because in popular media, like, people throw things out there as, you know, it's one thing if Tom Cruise gets a rope built for him in real time in Mission Impossible by nanomachines that build their way up to a skyscraper. Well, of course that's ludicrous, but that's not what we did. We basically had simple nanomachines fill in some dents and scratches in a costume. So I hope we can do that in the 26th century, because we can travel faster than the speed of light and defy C and eliminate cancer. And yeah, so I always think it's funny when I read that those are magic, because they're not magic, and you're going to have nanomachines doing stuff in your house in the next decade. So they might not be repairing your armor. They might be like congealing sugars in a recipe, but it's going to happen. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
So that was pretty awesome. I must say I wish I'd been a bit clearer in the wording for some of my questions, but overall the interview was awesome to listen to. Thanks again to Dustin from Podtacular and to Halo Collector for conducting this and giving me the opportunity to participate. Please check out Podtacular's website, subscribe to their podcast, and check out some of the other stuff they do, such as their Fragging Fridays on Twitch. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing it around. You are the reason I get to keep doing this, so thank you. Profusely, thank you.